Да.
Мама, привет.
Ты где?
В Буче.
Буча?
Буча. Нам только Ирпень осталось. Следующая остановка Киев.
At the start of the invasion of Ukraine, Russian forces expected to take the capital Kyiv within days. But poor coordination and fierce Ukrainian resistance stalled the ground assault, causing a buildup of Russian troops in outlying towns like Bucha. The Associated Press, Frontline, and C2 Research reviewed hundreds of hours of CCTV footage, intercepts of Russian phone calls, and spoke with survivors and witnesses to show what happened in Bucha and identify who was responsible. To better understand the scale of the atrocities and how the violence unfolded, we built a comprehensive 3D model of Bucha. It was based on data collected by a team of Ukrainian citizen researchers, the Talionis Group. Bucha authorities say they recovered the bodies of more than 450 men, women, and children. Nearly all of them showed signs of violent death. We mapped where the bodies were found. Each beacon represents the location of a victim. The largest concentration of bodies, nearly 40, was recovered along Yablunska Street, a strategic thoroughfare running east-west in an industrial section of town. We met with survivors and witnesses along Yablunska Street and beyond. Natalia Vlasenko and her family lived just off Yablunska Street. In early March, her 20-year-old grandson, Dima Chapulehin, a store clerk, filmed the Russians arriving from this second-floor terrace.
А він був на другому поверсі, побачив танки, бабушка, танки.
Dima wasn't the only one recording. One private home on Yablunska Street was outfitted with 6 security cameras. Dozens of Russian troops and vehicles marked with V's take over the street and continue to pour in. By March 4th, the occupation of Bucha was nearly complete. That's when the Russians came for Dima.
Просила, щоб вони його не трогали, вони пішли з нами, забрали його. Я держала їх, я боляла, я на колішки падав. Він на мене автомат наставив один. Каже, якщо по-хорошому не дають, зараз буде по-плохому. І воно, бідне, почало в вікно вискакувати, щоб вони мене не тронули. Такий веселий пішов, каже, бабушка, не переживай, я прийду.
Russian soldiers brought them to their base of operations in this industrial complex at 144 Yablunska. This office building was used as a bomb shelter before Russians took it over as their headquarters and base for interrogations. They also set up a field hospital and held civilians who didn't pose a threat in the basement.
Це там таке корректировщики і заставили нас піднятися, взяти один одного одною рукою за штани, а другу руку положити на потилицю і дивитися в землю. І повели нас до Яблунської 144.
When the Russians invaded, Ivan and other volunteers had been manning one of 3 checkpoints set up along this stretch of Yablunska. As troops advanced, volunteers from the other checkpoints escaped. Ivan and his group hid in this nearby house before they were captured. After being tortured and beaten, Ivan was taken outside the building to this corner, where the Russians started shooting.
І почувствував, як мені куля пройшла в бік. І я просто впав, рухнув і не рухався, давав, що я вже мертвий. Вони ходили, добивали. Тому я взагалі не рухався і теж ждав, що зараз теж буде постріл мені в голову. І не шевелився, не дишав, бо пара з рта йшла, щоб вони не побачили, що я ще живий. просто замер, не рухався.
Ivan waited for his moment. Despite a head injury and a gunshot to the abdomen, he managed to escape to this nearby house. Within an hour, more Russian soldiers sweeping the area found Ivan. This time, they believed he was an injured civilian and brought him back to 144, not to be tortured or killed, but to give him medical treatment.
Там мне медики обработали рану, наклеили лейкопластырь, там, дали какую-то таблетку и спустили в бункер, там, где ховалось, мирные от обстрелов.
That same day, after hearing that civilians were being let out, Natalia Vlasenko set out to 144 Yablunska to find her grandson Dima.
Я прошуся, кажу, пустіть мене в підвал, може він там, може він ранений, може він побитий. Думаю, хай він буде ранений, хай він буде побитий, я би живий.
But Dima was not among the civilians released. Natalia would have to wait. The violence spread far beyond Yablunska Street. When the occupation of Bucha turned from days to weeks, troops unable to reach Kyiv faced mounting losses, and they became more erratic and unpredictable. They also took over people's homes. Security cameras from inside this residence on Yablunska Street show soldiers playing with the lights, doing laundry, even chasing a dog. They eventually discover the cameras and shoot them. Outside, on the streets and fields of Bucha, more bodies started to appear. Those who were not able to flee hid inside their houses, including Natalia Vlasenko and her husband. They stayed behind, trying to find out what happened to their grandson Dima. Near the end of March, Russian troops returned to their house.
А чоловіка повели на другий поверх.
They began interrogating her husband Pavlo after discovering their son's military cap in a closet.
Він військовий. Так он Київ захищає. Вони його, мабуть, били, тому що він так з таким криком, з такою болью сказав да, він захищає Київ. І потім тишина. Весь двір обійшла, все, вийшла на вулицю сюди, наче немає нікого. А тоді сусід прийшов і каже: я знайшов твого Пашуню. Ну не йди туди, тому що це страшно дивитися навіть. Я підбігла, Боже, воно скрючене, це тільце, обгорівше. Голова теж там. Боже, почала дощ іде, я то яму рию, плачу, кричу. Тоді сусід вийшов, мені допоміг. Ми ледь-ледь його прикрили штахетами.
Russian forces eventually gave up on their Kyiv assault and pulled out of Bucha after a month-long occupation. Day by day, people found more bodies of their friends, families, and neighbors. Soon after Natalia buried her husband, Dima's body was discovered on the grounds of 144 Yablunska Street. Dima was just one of the hundreds of bodies found throughout Bucha. The full scale of the horrors, more than 450 deaths, wouldn't be known for months. What happened along Yablunska Street is case number 1 for Ukraine's war crimes prosecutors. Now they know who was responsible for what happened to Ivan, Dima, and others on March 4th. Soldiers from the 76th Guards Airborne Assault Division. Bucha was a turning point when the world called for accountability. The survivors and families of the dead are still waiting for that call to be answered.